Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. And now, coming to the mic, your host, Jalen Walker.
Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. I'm your host, Jalen Walker. We have a lot to unpack today. Big fight card tonight. Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana. Also, the Twitter war between John Jones and Adesanya continues, and it gets pretty heated. Plus, McGregor's possible return to the cage and the ring. We'll break it all down and much more. But first, my guest on the show today fights at AKA, American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, California. He recently competed on Week 7 of Dana White's Contender Series, where he defeated Denis Paiva. I'd like to welcome to the podcast Kyle Driscoll. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. We had to lock your ratio in with your camera with Skype interviews. They tend to like go all over the place.
I see.
I
gotcha.
All right, appreciate it though. As I repeat, you fight at AKA, one of the best gyms in the world, one of the most decorated gyms in the world. What's it like fighting out there? I mean, you guys got the likes of DC, Khabib. You guys are dripping in gold. You guys have had endless titles in Bellator, UFC. Just what's that championship environment like out there in San Jose?
You know, it's a grind. It's like I said it before, I think greatness is contagious, just like I think winning is contagious. And when you're around all that, it just becomes the normal. You know, we've had so many UFC embeddeds come in. The whole gym has changed. They do so much to add to the build-up. So when you see it so much, you know, you start to visualize. You're like, man, it's going to be me one day. And there is that side of AKA. That's the beauty side of it. But I'm telling you, there's this whole new gang of up-and-comers, guys the world hasn't even heard of. And this time, especially having Coach Hoff in Abu Dhabi with Khabib getting ready for the Gaethje fight, we're coming together. We have Coach Ron Kessler, who is just, you know, he's running the ship right now, and he's stepping up big time. We have so many fights coming up and coming guys, and this is the new wave. This is the passing of the torch from it went from Josh and those guys, Josh, Swick, Fitch, down to DC, King, Khabib, and now there's a new generation. There's a passing of the torch coming, and it's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of guys have been coming on the show out of all types of gyms. You got Team Alpha Male. They're all been talking about just their up-and-coming guys, and it just makes me more excited for the future of the UFC to know that there's going to be even more better talent in the near future.
Yeah, because just like at Alpha Male, you know, those guys who paved the way, they appreciate what they've done, and they know what they've done, and they take pride in passing it to the next generation. So it's cool to see how these gyms just keep evolving. And with the sport, you know, the competition level is insane now. Like, there's no just boxer, just wrestler. Like, my last fight, they made it out to be that, you know, if I couldn't take them, I'm going to be in trouble. So this game is just keeping up. If you can't keep up, you're going to drown. So you got to be able to do it all.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. You couldn't have put it better. So being in this championship environment, so it has to rub off on you. I mean, who are some of the? We'll get into DC because I know you have a connection with DC. But who are some of the other fighters that you've looked up to that you're now training with there at that gym?
I think the biggest was Cain Velasquez. Growing up, he was big.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my favorite to watch. He was the man, heavyweight champion of the world, and coming out here, building a relationship with him, I mean, that was just unbelievable. When he fought Francis, I was going and swimming with him a lot, doing his swim workout.
You're in his camp with that situation?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, there's been, you know, I've had the privilege of being in a lot of these people camps. Like, since I've been out here for 3 years now, I've been in all of Khabib's camps, going in the cage room with him, just getting that work. And honestly, that's a big reason why I'm in the position I'm in today. Islam Makhachev, the world's going to find out what he's about when he fights RDA. He's unreal. Like you said, DC, Luke was already kind of gone when I got out here.
Luke Rockhold,
he went out to Hard Knocks. But there's just so many names out here that I'm
Yeah, I mean, that's
fortunate to
another
have.
former middleweight UFC champion, Luke Rockhold. I mean, any names you say coming out of AKA, it's just title, title,
Yeah,
title,
man.
title. It's
And
absurd.
Coach
You guys are in
Coach Hoff knows
dominance.
what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
He's like
Um,
the wizard.
um, so what do you think your biggest advantage is at being at AKA for you personally?
I think it's the work ethic that they set. I think all those names that I mentioned, it showed me when I got out here. Before I got out here, those guys were like superheroes to me. They were at the pinnacle. They were everything I wanted to be. And then I got out here, and it just humanized them. Like they shoot the shit just like I do. They put their pants on just like I do, and they show up and they work their ass off. So it showed me, okay, if I just show up every day and I put in the work these guys are gonna put in, that seems like a recipe for success. It works. So I think that's the biggest thing is the environment and the work ethic that it sets is like absurd. You got to really push a pace out here, and that's the biggest thing I think I took from it.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Before we continue, do you mind turning your AirPods down just a tad? We're getting a little bit of feedback from the mic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're good. So, you're a big Oklahoma Sooners fan. They play tonight against Iowa State. They're ranked 18th now, 1-1
Oh,
this season. Are you hopeful?
I'm not, man. I'm losing hope. I'm losing hope. I think we're too little and too young right now, but
You got a
you
young
know,
QB. What's his name? Spencer something.
Spencer
Yeah,
Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. Yeah.
Yeah, he's young. He's making, who am I to be a critic out here? But he's escaping the pocket early, making bad decisions.
Yeah.
But he's going to develop. The team's going to develop around him. But that loss to K State was bad because
Mhm.
K State's rebuilding.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
lost so many starters. So
Exactly.
it's a
You
heartbreaker.
can't lose faith though. You gotta stick with them.
And I'm a shit talker, so now I don't have much ammo.
Yeah, I was looking at your Twitter. It was just all Oklahoma stuff, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
You got an NFL team?
Man, ever since coming out here, I just go for the Niners now. I kind of hop around. I bandwagon it. When I lived in the Northeast, the Patriots, they won a Super Bowl, so I was a Patriots fan. Last year, I was a Niners fan. I'm holding true this year.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Patriots right now. I don't know if you heard Cam Newton got COVID, so he's out right now. So
Oh,
there's
that's not good.
just there's a hope. They were doing good for a little bit, and then all that just broke out. But we hope for the best for that.
Hey, I want to see Cam Newton do great things, man. I like what he's preaching right now. He said like this isn't about money. This is about my prize, about what I'm about. So
Mhm.
I'm on his side, man. I want to see him do good things this year. Get past this COVID.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I don't want him to do better than the Bengals though, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, you're a Bengals fan.
Yeah, we gotta get it back up. It's not going that great for us and Joe Burrow, but he's doing great. Well, hopefully it all turns around for us. I think we just gotta lock in that team chemistry and
The team chemistry, and they're gonna build around him, dude. I mean, look what he did at LSU.
yeah,
It's
nasty.
He's in his freshman year in the NFL, and the NFL is more
Yeah.
competitive now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna do good things.
Yeah, he shows a lot of potential. I mean, he's a great quarterback, so I don't hope, I know we will turn it around. So
Who's your college team?
college, see, I went to Miami
Wow.
University, so I got to rep Miami University, and that's where Ben the Roethlisberger went, but I don't, what I mean, he's Steelers. I'm not really about that life, but so Miami, but I'll root for Ohio State. I'll root for the Bearcats UC, any Ohio football team,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But O State's starting, yeah. Ohio State, they're starting back up. That's interesting. I think they're playing 8 games in total.
Oh
Something
yeah,
like
because
that.
of all that Big Ten stuff
Yeah.
going on. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was Ohio State that was protesting, wasn't it? The
They
quarterback.
yeah. Oh, I mean, a whole bunch of people were standing outside the stadium, protesting for them to restart the season. Everyone came in their jerseys and everything. It's huge up in Columbus, man. My friends went to OSU, and that's the thing to do. You know what I mean? When it's game day, it's game day.
Oh yeah,
Everything in the
that's how
city.
OU is.
Yeah, it's like a cult up there for
But
OSU, the football team.
could you imagine being a senior in college football right now, you're kind of on the fence, right? Like
Yeah.
teams are kind of looking at you, but they want to see a good senior year. And
Yep.
now they're telling you don't get a senior year. Like that's
Yep.
two different directions in life.
Yep. Like, do you
So
stay
I
another
couldn't
year,
imagine.
wait, hold out until the pandemic's over? The teams trust you enough to take you? I mean,
Yeah, a
This
lot.
past NFL draft was already interesting enough. You know what I mean? Like, with them not be able to see them work out that much and stuff like that. But they seem that they got loopholes, and they had the videos and stuff. So hopefully, some of these
Yeah,
seniors that do want to go to the NFL are able to showcase their talents in other ways other than being in person. So I do wish the best for
absolutely.
them. I do.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I do hope the best for Oklahoma too, and I gotta keep praying for the Bengals.
We need it. I'll
Yeah.
do the same.
All right, so you're 12-3 currently on a 7-win streak. You got 5 TKOs, 1 submission, and 6 decisions. A lot of those wins came out of Legacy Fighting Alliance and Extreme Fight Nights, and most recently on Dana White's Contender Series, like we mentioned, where you defeated Dennis Paiva. Before we get into Contender Series, I wanted to ask you, how was it fighting out of Legacy Fighting Alliance and Extreme Fight Nights, where you spent most of your career so far?
Legacy was cool because of the platform. It was really early in my career. Um, some of the fights, I took tougher fights early on, which I'm happy about. And you just get caught in that local circuit situation. And then we started going over to Dale Cook is in my hometown, XFN. Dale Cook's the promoter. He puts on XFN, and that was my hometown gig. I was selling a bunch of tickets to these shows, so those fights were close to my heart. I had all my people. It was cool. But towards the end of that, my last 3 fights on the regional scene, I was going through 6 opponents. I was like 6-week camp, starting a fight, going to 45, going through 6 opponents in 6 weeks, and now I'm fighting at like 160. So I talked to Coach Hoff and stuff, and we had to like hold out because I was just ready for something bigger, such as Contender Series, and because I was just tired of like, am I gonna fight? Are we gonna get someone in time? So I'm glad those days are, hopefully behind me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you got an impressive record. I don't think there's anything to worry about. You've had some nice knockouts. You haven't lost in 3 years. I mean, that's not something a lot of fighters can say. You know what I mean? That's a long period of time. Uh, what clicked for you after that loss against Derek Atkins in 2017? That's kept you from losing. Was it your transition to AKA? What was going on?
Yeah, it was changing my environment. I knew I knew what I wanted to be around, and so I took a couple trips. I went and checked out Team Elevation. I went and checked out Jackson Wink, and I was just looking. When I came to AK, it was home. I loved it. I immediately is where I want to be. Um, I just had to change my environment. I couldn't do the small gym stuff because I knew I expected more of myself. I'm not dissing all these guys who train at a small gym. Just wasn't for me. We're all on our own path. Do your thing. But I needed to be around. I didn't want to be the best guy in the room anymore. I was training like these local gyms. You're training with a bunch of people who they're part timers. They get off work, they come in, maybe they take some amateur fights. I couldn't be the best I couldn't be the best guy in the gym, but get where I want to get when I close my eyes and visualize. So that change made everything start to click. It was, now I'm getting pushed. Now I'm getting beat up in the gym. So I'm growing, but in the cage, it shows.
Yeah. I mean, that 100% makes sense, and I mean, it's very apparent that whatever you're doing, it's working, and you just got to keep doing it and just keep grinding to reach that next goal. And I watched a couple of your fights from these organizations, and you had some good fights, man. Some real good fights. Very entertaining fights. Nothing where you're half-assing it. You're putting your all into these. You can tell you're passionate about it, and that's amazing. When you moved out to AKA, you barely had any money. Your family was telling you to rethink the whole situation. How did you stay focused, and what drove you to say no? That's where I need to be. I need to get out to these gyms. What was it?
I mean, it was holding on to dream I had when I was a kid. Like, because I knew if I were to stay in those local gyms, I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you today, right? Just
Yeah.
things weren't right. It wasn't my environment. So when I made that decision, there was nothing anyone could have said to me. My mom and dad calling saying like, "Hey, let's talk about this. Let's think about this. This doesn't make sense." And no, I don't. It does. To me, it does.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot on is like, what your dream and what you want to pursue is not your parents. So like, cool, listen to their input, but attack your dream. Go do what you want to do. So that's where I was at with it. Gary Vaynerchuk, I was listening to a lot of him, so that helped me stay strong with the decision. Because there's a lot of doubt when you make a leap of faith like that. You gotta channel that doubt out of your mind and focus on redirect those thoughts to everything you want to become, and that's what I did.
Manifest it.
Yeah, manifest it.
Yeah.
See it, believe it, achieve it. That's what they say.
Yeah. It'll come to you. Where were you training at before, AKA?
I was like going around. There was a R1 MMA. Matt Grice was our coach. He was a former UFC fighter. Had some big fights with like Dennis Bermudez, Ricardo Lames. Love him, but he made a better fighter than a coach. Not talking shit, just spitting truth.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? There's some players that just can't coach. You know what I mean? It's just they're better players than coaches.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I made this move over to another gym, Forza Academy. There's a great striking coach over there, Leo. But when I started to want to see bigger gyms and stuff, he was like, that was my guy, man. I helped build his gym. I kept his doors open with like just sending people in Tulsa, where I'm from. We had a great relationship, but when I wanted to start to explore big gyms, he was quick to tell me that like, no, you can't, you won't get any attention. Only the guys that get attention are the big names. Like, you're nothing. And I wasn't shit. I was 5-3, and so that kind of fueled my fire, man. Like, have someone doubt you and tell you no and watch what you do. That's kind of what that guy kind of fueled my fire. And he's a good coach. I'm not taking anything away from him, but how he handled that situation kind of left some salt in my mouth.
Yeah, it left a bitter taste.
Yeah.
Understandable. Did you have any connections at AKA before arriving? I know you said you went out and looked at a couple gyms.
Yeah, Kyle Crutchmer was finishing his wrestling career at Oklahoma State, and I think he was looking between Alpha Male and AKA, and hit me up. It's like, yo, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on AKA. Come check it out. And then I just committed to it. I was like, let's do it. I'm gonna make it happen.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
I stayed in his living room. I was living in the living room for like
grind.
$700. Yeah. Got a little free twin size mattress off Facebook Marketplace and
nice.
Made it happen.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. From my understanding, once you got to AKA, you built a relationship with the jiu-jitsu coach, Ron Kessler, Coach Hoff also in DC. Tell me about those three relationships with AKA.
So Coach Ron, that's like my big brother. He's not just our jiu-jitsu coach anymore. That's our MMA coach. He's like, there's a new generation of up-and-comers. There's a new generation of coach, and that's Ron Kessler. He's leading right now. He's all these MMA drills. He's just helping us evolve. That's my big brother. That's who I go to for everything. We discuss everything. We just made a big decision actually this week about going forward. We'll talk about that. Coach Hoff, he's like Gandalf, man. He's like the wizard of this MMA shit. He's
been around for so long.
Yeah, dude. And
he knows what he's doing too. Like, he knows to the T of what he's doing.
Dude, like I've said it before. He wrote the blueprint. You just got to follow it.
Yep.
You
follow his path, you're golden.
It's looking good for you, man.
Yeah.
So Coach Hoff's honestly, it's like my grandpa, because there was a point in time, and his wife Joanna, who runs AKA, because AKA is a big gym name, but it's just a mom and pop
Yeah.
shop that made it. She runs that
Old
show.
school.
And there's a time, I didn't have a car, so I'm just at AK all day, just hanging out with them, talking, getting to know them. Now, that's like my grandpa. DC, when I first got out here, I was helping him with his wrestling team. He has the AK Daniel DC Wrestling, AKA, and then he has the Gilroy Hawks.
High
At the
school.
time,
Yeah, where he doesn't take any of the money. He gives it all to the school and so he does it all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
he has with the Gilroy too. There's like elementary through high school, but the elementary teams are like combined. There's like AK and Gilroy are one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a complicated.
What was that? What was that one kid from the high school's name that he wrestled Khabib? What's his name? Oh,
Chase Saldate.
yeah, dude. I love that kid, dude. Oh, dude.
Dude, when I got out here, he was I believe a sophomore, and he was good. He had a lot of potential at the time, but it was so cool to watch him evolve. He surpassed his potential. What I thought, like I knew he was going to be good. Kid turned out to be great. He's on to Michigan State now. He was the number 1 kid in the country.
Yeah.
He was breaking. He wrestled the number 2 kid in the country and broke this kid.
I know. I saw. It was ridiculous.
Kid didn't even want to wrestle him.
Khabib was wrestling him with closed grip, and he was still able to like kind of do a little bit. He wasn't able to. It's Khabib, but he was able to work with it.
For Khabib.
Yeah. He was able to work with it.
That kid can wrestle, man. He bought into what DC and Duran Wynn's DC's assistant, and just what they coach and the practices they run are just so intense and methodical. And then Chase bought in. He bought into his coaches. That's very important. You have to buy into your coaches to be successful, and he did. And look where he's at. He's as good as you can be.
Exactly, and he has the future ahead of him. So much potential.
So much potential. I just hope the NCAA gets to have a season,
Yeah.
Coming up.
I feel like wrestling, being one-on-one, hopefully they'll be able to create some sort of bubble. And I feel like we got, what's his name? I just tweeted about it. We got a boxing match October 31st that's going to have fans at it. What's his name? Devontae? I can't remember his name. He's about to fight.
Devontae Davis?
Yeah, they're fighting in front of fans on the 31st.
Oh, that's a big step.
Yeah, it's like, is it full capacity? Is it not? I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest with you. I think they should just hold off. It's way too early. It's way too early, I think.
I think football's an experiment right now because some of these teams are letting some fans, half fans. So let's see what happens. If the numbers don't go up in those cities, then that's a good indicator.
And the one thing about these fans at these games, most of them are season ticket holders. So it's not just the open public. So they can kind of control that demographic a little bit more because they know who they are and they can probably see if they're tested or not. I don't know how it's working out, to be honest with you. It's so much. But Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz.
Oh, that's a scrap. That's a good fight.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Where is that?
It's going to be. It doesn't say where it's at. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's going to be at. But it's on Showtime, October 31st. I don't think it can be in Las Vegas. There's no way.
No.
I don't think they would let that go. Let me see.
If the UFC can't have fans, I don't.
Yeah, and I think the UFC just wants to. They just want to step away from that at the moment. They've had some guests like in Abu Dhabi, but those aren't really. That's not like open public. You know what I mean? This is like, hey, you get a ticket, you're coming. It's at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut.
That's where Bellator's having their shows.
Oh, really? Oh, so Bellator might be getting fans soon too then.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder, I guess it's just the governor there might just be a little bit lenient. Who knows?
Yeah. I want the fans back, man. That was...
Yeah. I miss the fans, but I start to forget about it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was watching Adesanya versus Paulo, it was just like, you don't think about it. You're thinking about the fight. You're thinking about what's going on. You're watching their style. It's just numb.
Yeah.
It's become numb to us now.
Until it comes back, dude. That place.
It's gonna feel so weird.
There was a sold out crowd for Adesanya Costa.
Oh,
the place would have went bananas.
It would have went insane. insane. People would have been
He's
doing backflips. Like,
he's insane, dude.
dude, he's so good. He's so good. I'm gonna get into the later show after our interview, like the John Jones Twitter war. But before, what do you think of it?
What, the John Jones Twitter war?
Yeah, him and Adesanya. Do you think it's validated? Dana White wants to make it happen.
I mean, yeah, I think they're both playing their part, you know. John, they know what the money fight is for
Yeah.
the both of them. I mean, John's relevant because of what he did in the past, but Israel's the hottest on the market right now.
Yep.
So John played his cards right, talked shit to Israel, and I don't know who wins the fight.
Does Adesanya go up or Jones come down?
I say Adesanya goes up.
If Adesanya gets a meat on his bones, dude, that's gonna be scary. That's gonna be scary, dude. Can you imagine his spinning back kick with just a little bit more oomph in it, or that one roundhouse kick he hit Costa with? Like, imagine that with just a little bit more girth on it. Like, Jesus. Like, I don't know.
I mean, when he hits these dudes, it's like they don't even see it. He's just so fast and smooth. It's like add some torque to that.
Oh my god! And he was hitting Paulo Costa so hard, it was hurting him, but he didn't even realize he was hurt. Like, you can see it in his face. He was just like, "Oh wow,
Yeah,
that got me." Like, it was just so impressive, so impressive. Before we get too off topic, let's go back to DC real quick. I've heard DC is great with sharing his knowledge in wrestling and stuff like that. What's the most important thing he's taught you personally in the wrestling game?
in the wrestling game, I think it's just. I mean, the one thing I've taken from this dude the most is the work ethic. Like, I know I preach that because that's what it is. Like, I think they used to call him the king of the grind for a reason. Like, this dude's work ethic. You see him, you know, he might be just starting camp. He's a little big.
Yep.
Dude does not get tired. He's just pushing a pace. He's grinding. He's grinding. And you look at his wrestling team. You know, kids want to talk and slack off. He's on their head, and the whole team pays the price for it. It's the grind. That's what I got from D. It's like, shut your mouth and work.
Yep.
And I think that's so valuable. That goes for anything in life, you know. Just don't do what's expected of you. Like, just work your ass off. Do more than what's expected.
Yep. And look where, I mean, it got him. Unfortunately, he lost against Stipe again, which was a great fight. But, I mean, two division
Can't deny
champ.
the career the man had.
Yeah,
you know?
two division champ. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a fight game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably just an honor for you to be learning from him and being on the same team as him. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I would be so nervous just to talk to him because I've been watching him for so long and just who he is and what he stands for. Like, he's a great dude.
He's a great dude.
I have to ask, based on pure skill, okay? Just hear me out. If DC and Khabib were in the same weight, who wins on the mat?
Oh my gosh.
Because they've like gone back and forth a little bit. You know, Khabib said, I'm gonna get my weight up or something. You know, it ain't gonna happen. But theoretically, who do you think takes down on the mat? It's so hard to think about.
I think it comes down because they're both so dominant on the top.
Yeah.
Right. So whoever can establish that top position, and there's two contradicting styles. DC is a U.S. Olympic level wrestler, which is a lot of leg attacks, like going to a single leg and running the single leg down, or going high crotch and running through the high crotch. Khabib's more upper body. Khabib wants to like bring you up and look for a trip or a sweep or
and he likes to get you on the cage. You know what I mean? He likes to pin you down there. I mean,
so if DC could get to a leg attack and get on top, I mean DC. I'm going with DC.
Oh, no. Yeah, I got a pure mat, like no cage. I got to give it to DC. You know what I mean? But in the Octagon, I think it's Khabib all the way if he can get him against the fence because he's so good at locking your legs. Yeah. He's so good at putting his legs around you and just crisscrossing them and just you can't do anything from there. It's just
dude. So you think it's bad in a fight? In sparring, he'll take many times. I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. He'll take me down. We'll be fighting. He'll step over. and your shin guards go right below your knee, right where he likes to
Mm-hmm.
step over. He'll figure 4 over your shin guards and knee pads, and then get his back cross, and you physically can't move. And
Yeah.
he'll be like, "Come on, brother, move. Move."
Yeah, he
Like,
likes to
dog,
talk. He loves to talk.
I'm in checkmate, bro. You got me. Can we restart?
And he does it so quick, man, and effectively.
Dude, and
He's
he's like, his
mastered.
squeeze is so natural, and it just doesn't ever go away. There's like, some guys will grapple you and they're on top. Sure, they move a lot. But when this guy pinches his legs on your thigh, you're not moving.
Yeah, you can't. Your legs aren't going over it, and he puts your butt at the angle underneath him, so you can't even lean up to even try to do anything. Only way out is pretty much to slide under him, and there's no way he's gonna let you get out that way.
Well, what he does is he gets that leg, he secures that, and then he like starts peppering you a little bit, and then your only way out is to go on your elbow, or what you should do is put your hand far out so he can't gather the elbow. But he's so good at it. When you're on your side, he has your leg, and you go to your hand, he just gathers it on the front side, shoots his backside bar arm through. You're done.
It's just so many outlets for him. It's just he's so versatile. It's crazy. It's honestly, it's great
And
to
he's the
watch.
first person I've ever seen who, like, you see guys who will do like 3 5-minute rounds of good hard bag work. Khabib will do like 3 5-minute rounds of ground and pound bag work.
Yeah.
No kickboxing, just straight ground and pound.
I could just imagine you walking into the gym and just looking to the left, and it's just Khabib going ham on a bag.
Yeah, it sounds, and the walls there are cement because it's an old racquetball facility.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
it just echoes,
Echo.
and it just sounds like there's bombs going off over here.
That's hilarious.
It's
What do you think is going to be the outcome of him versus Gaethje?
I think he's gonna do the same thing.
Really? You don't think
It's hard.
Gaethje can do anything to him? Gaethje's a
I
force to
think
be
Gaethje,
reckoned with,
no,
man.
for sure. I think it's gonna be a dogfight. I
Yeah.
think Gaethje's might find some success in the boxing,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because
but
he's so strong, man. It's just people say, like, I personally don't know. I've never been hit by him, but people say they've been hit by him. He hits like a truck. Like, it's nothing you've
no,
ever felt before.
I think he's the. I say this based on the Tony Ferguson fight with no fans, but
Which
I
was
think Gaethje might be the hardest hitting 55er we've seen.
Yeah. He might be the hardest hitting person per his size, you know what I mean? I mean, not
Yeah.
including Ngannou, because I think Ngannou's the hardest hitting puncher in the UFC. I can't remember the stats or whatever, but I think per size, I think it's him, man. He is.
Yeah.
Whew, I mean, look what he did to Tony Ferguson's face. Ferguson usually does that to all of his opponents' faces. Like,
Yes.
it was just, no one expected that. No one expected that going into that. We just thought we were going to have a good, entertaining fight, and he just, nah, this is my time.
Yeah. I think so. There's a difference, There's American, like I said, with DC and Khabib, the who would win. There's 2 different styles. There's an American style and there's a Russian style. And I think Gaethje, as the fight progresses, Khabib's going to get to his wrestling exchanges, and they're just a little more weird. It's not so much like, okay, a guy hits a single leg, you run a hip lock, stuff his head, square your hips. No, when he hits a single leg and you go to whizzer and bring him up, that's what he wants. Now he's got a body lock and he's going to back trip you. He's going to run you to the wall, go under your butt. He's just got a whole different style. And unless you bring in a Russian feel, which Gaethje might have, I don't know. But there's only one way to feel it, and it's to get a Russian or a Sambo guy to come in and get that feel.
And
so I think that's where Khabib could find some success early.
It's going to be a good fight, man. I'm hoping for a really good fight.
Wait. Yeah.
They're both amazing fighters. And
it's cool to see how much respect they have for each other.
Yeah. Well, I think Khabib, ever since the Conor stuff happened, I think he's just been, all right, forget all that crap. We're just always going to be positive no matter what. And it showed during the Poirier thing with the charity, with the shirt for, the good fight and all that. So I respect Khabib. I look past all that Conor mess after the fight. You know what I mean? You gotta look at his actual talent and who he is, and he is a good guy.
Yeah.
which is great.
He is. He's solid, man.
It's gonna be a really, really good fight. Um,
Absolutely.
so let's. I wanted to talk to you about Nogi Worlds. You won in 2019. No, you got second place. Sorry, second place in 2019. Correct.
Yeah.
What was that like? That must have been exhilarating. You were in the blue belt division, and you lost in the finals by 2 points.
Yeah.
Ah,
It was. I was just talking to Ron about, I had fought in Garland, Texas, and I didn't like my performance all that much. For Combate, it was just there's so much went on, man. I was behind the curtain supposed to fight, and then they tell me I'm a post lim, so I got 4 hours till I fight. Then they tell me I'm on TV, get ready. Then they say, just kidding, you got another 2 hours. So it was just a shit show. When I watched my fight, I talked to Ron. I was like, yo, I want my grappling to be like, I was out grappling this dude, but I want to be submitting fools, like good grappling.
Yeah.
So he was like, Nogi World's coming up, go. So I was like 172 pounds. I entered the 175-pound division. There was like 77 guys. It was a dogfight every match. Every match. The first dude was an All-American wrestler. I'm losing with like 30 seconds left. I was like, man, I did not come here to lose by wrestling. Like, if I'm going to lose, it's going to be to some jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not going to lose on some wrestling criteria. So I dug deep into that one.
DC and Khabib would not let that fly by with you. They would have been very upset.
No, that can't happen, And then the third match I had, man, I forget this dude's name, like Rodriguez or some Brazilian guy. And I see, I walk up to the match. Ron couldn't make it, so I'm solo. And Cyborg starts slapping this dude up, like getting him ready. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is one of Cyborg's little prodigies. Like, okay. Dude starts going for all the rolls and stuff. That was the hardest match. The third match, that guy he was the real deal. He just made a mistake with like 20 seconds left, came to his feet, and I knee picked him and took him down. But it was a good experience, dude. My grappling now, because of that, is through the roof, like night and day different.
I bet. That's what I was gonna ask you. What was the biggest achievement you got from there? Was it the valuable techniques that you learned, or that's what I was gonna take?
Yeah, it's just the overall jiu-jitsu game, dude. Because I'm good friends with Mason Fowler, the guy who he just had that rivalry with Craig Jones. Yeah. And he's at Coyote, which is in downtown San Jose, so that's right down the street. I hit up Mason for that camp because he was going as well, and I was going to Coyote, training with them, doing war rounds with Mason Fowler, Jake Shields, Coyote, Josh Cisneros, just murders, 10-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could have even not gone to Worlds, and I would have gotten a lot better just because of I treated it. I did a jiu-jitsu camp. I did like a 6-week jiu-jitsu camp and got ready for it, and it was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, second place is not that bad at Nogi Worlds. You know what I mean? In the blue belt division, it's not something, and people don't understand. Oh, it's not black belt. Like blue belt division, that's a lot of competition.
It's a lot of competition. There's a lot of sandbaggers. I went against a couple guys who were definitely purple belts.
They just didn't want to move up yet.
You're supposed to be going in a couple hours.
You start with them, you're like, nah, the dog, you ain't no blue belt.
Yeah, come on, bro.
That's funny. All right, so let's break down your victory over Dennis Pivon, Dana White's Contender Series. Going into the fight, what was on your mind?
First the weight cut, because I got it on 15 days notice.
Yeah.
So that was
you were late notice.
That was the first battle, and then just put on a performance, man. Just go out there, and I didn't want to buy into the whole, you got to go absolutely kill this guy for Dana. I just wanted to make sure I stayed true to what I went in there to do.
You didn't want to overextend yourself.
On the other, yeah. But on the other hand, man, we had this whole game plan. I was gonna go in there. I was gonna Habib this dude, finish him, get signed. And I'm in the back warming up, and I hear Bisping and that other guy, and they're talking. I think at one point, I know I heard Bisping say, like, man, if Driscoll can't get this fight to the ground, he's going to be in some trouble. And then I watched the whole promotional video right before I fought. They got TVs back there playing it, and they're just talking about this dude's boxing. Like, he's got boxing. And so I looked at Ron right before he walked out, and I was like, yo, don't be surprised if I outbox this dude tonight. And, him being the coach, he was like, yeah, we're going to outbox him, but we're going to stick to the game plan. But when I got out there, I got that first takedown. I'm on top of him. We're just sticking to the game plan. And there was a point in the fight where he went to a tripod, which is what everyone does. We drill it every day. It's, I think I'm like a brown belt in that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We run a spiral ride, sit into his hip, cover the hip, go to the Khabib. And I made a decision. I heard Bisping's voice in my head, and he went to stand up, and I let him stand up. I was like, no, I can strike. I'm gonna show this.
Yeah.
So that I kind of went against our game plan, but you live and you learn.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
good.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
That's the other thing that I said. Ron and I had made a decision on is I think these cuts to 45 are taken away from my pop a little bit. I think when I first started going to 145 is when my second fight out of AKA. I was 22 years old, I believe, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And the cuts were much easier. The Combate Americas fight, that weight cut I did everything right, man. I listened to my nutritionist every fight. I followed the game plan. But the last pound, it's different now. This last fight, the last 7/10 was horrible. My kidney, everything was just locking up.
Yeah.
So I talked to Ron, and I have a big frame. So
72
I think I'm going to make a move
too.
up to 55. And at least for right now, we're on the short notice radar for the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not 45, 55. So I think I'm going to test the waters when that opportunity arises.
One second, we lost you for a second. There you go. We lost you for a
Macho
second.
DC's streaming.
You there?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're good. You're back.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
I don't know where I was at, but
your weight cut, short notice for the
like I
UFC.
said, I think being on the UFC's radar for short notice at 155, I get to test the waters.
Mm-hmm.
But I got Chris Camacho running the strength conditioning program and Tyler Whalen running the nutrition. And I think I'm going to grow into a 55, or I think I'll naturally have more pop-up there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm
looking forward to it. These cuts are just.
Yeah, the cuts have to take a lot out of you probably. But yeah, in your fight against Dennis Paiva, you proved that you have a good chin. He hit you with a nice right hand that put you down at the beginning, but you immediately recovered from that, and then you hit him with some nasty combinations. But it was the second round that stood out to me when you guys were both standing in the pocket, and I was gonna get at it. How you said that he's a boxer, but you wanted to outbox him, and you certainly did in the pocket in that second round. You are obviously landing more punches than him. You are obviously being more effective. Were you surprised that he wasn't going down from some of those punches?
Yeah, there was one right hand in particular that I for sure thought would have dropped him, but
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I think he stepped in for a stiff jab,
Yep.
and I kind of went in on a little short overhand. Take nothing away from that dude. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude.
Good chin.
But that goes back to what I'm saying about, I think at 55, when I land those shots, guys go down.
Yep.
I think I'm depleting myself too much at 45 for that finishing pop. So I think that's a change we're going to make.
Yeah. And I think probably at 155, that's just going to be a more comfortable weight for you. Something you don't got to worry about dropping those extra 10 pounds. And just keep your mind right, because your mind is one of the biggest tools for fighting, one of the biggest muscles. So
yeah,
anything that helps you, whatever helps you stay calm and comfortable in that situation, I think you should go for it. And I think you guys sound like you're on the right track for that.
Yeah.
Even though you got the victory, you did not receive a UFC contract. What are your plans moving forward? You said you're on a short notice. Have you been invited back to Contender Series in November? Are you talking to any other organizations? What's going on with that?
No, I just kind of want to stay ready for this UFC short notice. If an opportunity lines up with Contender at 155, I would love that. But I spoke with Hoff, and he just kind of advised me to stay ready for short notice.
Yeah.
He was talking to Sean Shelby, so just make sure I'm getting my sparring rounds in, staying in shape.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't even be till, Fight Island's done in November. So
yeah. I mean, I just had Michael Lombardo on the show, the Don, and he was saying he's also on the short notice list. So I hope you guys get fights. I hope you get called up. I think it'd be pretty entertaining no matter who you fight. I think there's some stuff clicking in your head that you're going to be able to get right and to be able to be a top contender in the UFC, hopefully. So it's really exciting. Before I let you go, who do you got tonight against Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana?
I got the preacher's daughter.
Hey. Man. Let's go. Dude, I love Holly, man. She's so dynamic. She's so good. I was just fighting with her on UFC 4 last night, and oh man, I was just head kick. She's just so entertaining.
Did they make her voice animations when she fights on there?
Yeah, they got most of the voice animations on there.
Eesh.
I feel like they just took the Bruce Lee ones and they just like modified them a little bit to sound like her, to be honest with you, because they sound almost identical. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's funny. Also fighting tonight is your teammate Jermaine Durandamy against Julia Pena. Obviously you gotta go. Jermaine's still at AKA, correct?
No, she's not here.
Oh, anymore. She's not at AKA anymore?
No.
Where's she at?
I don't even know.
She's not. Oh, I didn't know she left AKA.
Yeah.
They need to update her thing. Her ESPN tag still says AKA. I'm gonna look into that actually. That's very.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's still everything for her on most websites, Tapology, everything's still AKA.
That's funny. I'm going with her though. I mean,
she's so good.
Her kickboxing or Muay Thai, whichever she does, is through the roof. Yeah,
I mean, she's one of the top kickboxers in the world. She only came to the UFC because there wasn't enough money and exposure in kickboxing. Same with Adesanya. Adesanya had 80 wins in kickboxing before coming to the UFC. I mean, Adesanya just got his 100th win, which people aren't even talking about. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah, 100 wins, and he's not even in his mid-20s.
How old is he? 25, 24?
He's younger than that. I think he's like, one second. Let me find out. Adesanya age. He's way younger than that. Oh, whoa. Oh, never mind. He's a lot older than I thought.
28?
31.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was like 24, 20-something.
Dude, he's got like the Benjamin Button effect. Looks like a kid.
For sure you did. I honestly thought he was like, I did not know he was older than me. That's crazy. I did not know that. That's insane. But yeah, that's all I got for you really, Kyle. I really do appreciate you coming on. There's a lot to look forward from you in the future. I wish you all the best in your endeavors in UFC, hopefully, or any organization you get into.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming on. I'd love to talk to you again after you get a fight booked or after a fight or something. So we'll keep a lookout for you, man.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, a lot of fun talking to you.
Let's do this again next fight.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Driscoll out of AKA. Thanks, man.
Later, brother.
That was Kyle Driscoll, everyone. Super cool guy. Glad we got him on the show. Really exciting to hear what he had to say about DC Khabib and fighting at AKA. I mean, AKA is just, it's one of the tops. Everyone, if you're an MMA fan, you know what AKA is. So thanks, Kyle, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Okay. On to some news before we get into this fight card. I wasn't gonna get too into it, but it's just something I got to. The John Jones Israel Adesanya beef. This Twitter war has gone bananas. I mean, we got Jones deleting some of his posts, then retweeting like some other stuff, even worse. It all started, Jones started trolling Adesanya on Twitter after the fight. He was trolling everyone, the light heavyweight division, whole bunch of different things. I mean, that's just who Jones is. I mean, he's just being a troll at this point. It's annoying. But Jones said on Twitter, I'm curious to hear. So recently they got their parents involved. And Jones basically said, I'm curious to hear what his father tells him when he asks about fighting me. I wonder if his father believes he's ready. Eugene definitely doesn't. And then Israel said, my pops already know how I beat you. Trust me, he knows. Your mom will be disappointed in who you've become. And then basically they were getting back and forth into it. I don't want to get too deep into it. Basically, it's gotten so out of hand that Dana White has even come to the forefront and said, after this Twitter war, this is the fight to make. So the question now is, as I was talking to Kyle, does Adesanya go up or does Jones come down? That's the major question right now. I thought Jones was going to go to heavyweight. I was excited to see him in heavyweight to hopefully get another fight against Alexander Gustafsson, which is some of my favorite fights of all time, him versus Johnny Bone Jones. But doesn't look like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to keep speculating. It would be interesting to see them both fight each other. Well, who knows? We'll see in the near future, hopefully. Yeah. I kind of don't want it to happen, but I do at the same time. I really do. Some more news from Adesanya. Adesanya tells Chris Weidman to get some more wins before title talk. Chris Weidman was on Twitter. He said, hey, I just realized I have two common opponents with Adesanya. Gastelum, who I finished, then Silva, who I finished twice. Adesanya squeaked by decision on both of you guys. Adesanya is just another Silva without the black belt in jiu-jitsu easy. First, before I get to Adesanya's reply, Chris Weidman, Adesanya won that fight against Gastelum. He did win that fight against what's his name? Anderson Silva. Sorry, took a blank. It's just Adesanya's just, I think, is a much better fighter than Chris Weidman. I think Chris Weidman is doing what he needs to do to try to get in that title talk because it's so flooded right now, especially with Khamzat coming up in the middleweight, who I personally think is the only person that can beat Adesanya or take it to that next level in that realm. But Adesanya replied on Twitter to Chris Weidman, get some wins first, please. I already have you figured out. I've sized you up a few times, watch you hit and miss. I know how to fuck up your single and double leg attacks. I'm 10 steps ahead, like I said. I knew I would use this clip one day to prove that I knew. And it's just a clip of Chris Weidman stuff, or Adesanya talking about him. But this isn't a fight I'm really worried about or want to see. I want to see Adesanya fight some tougher dogs. Nothing taken away from Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman's an incredible fighter, but I don't think he's in the league that the style bender's in, if that makes sense. I think the best fight for Adesanya coming up would be Khamzat. I just say give it to Khamzat. Just either he's gonna put up or shut up, and that we just gotta see it. We gotta see it. I just want to see it. But speaking of Khamzat versus Stephen Thompson is in talks. Rumor has it Thompson doesn't want to fight Khamzat. He wants to fight like Leon Edwards or something, I think. But Khamzat versus Thompson, man, it's close to being finalized for a November main event. According to Yahoo Sports, Dan Wetzel, Ultimate Fighting Championship is close to booking Khamzat against former welterweight title challenger Stephen Thompson for a November showdown. Nothing is official at this time, but the 170-pound clash would serve as the main event and likely to take place in Las Vegas after the promotion returns from Fight Island. Khamzat's already getting a main event. This man is a legend in the making. It makes no sense how good he is also. Double booked. He was supposed to fight Damian Maia as part of historical double booking, like I'm saying, but the promotion is now looking to give the undefeated prospect a bigger name in just his 4th UFC fight. 4 fights. That's crazy. Khamzat, 26, made his Octagon debut back in July and ended up capturing 2 lopsided finishes in a span of 10 days, which is the new UFC record, other than not the guy from UFC 1, the karate guy that got 3 wins in one night. That doesn't count, I don't believe, in my eyes. But still very impressive. But yeah, UFC record. I mean, Khamzat, he knocked out Jared Mershart, a UFC legend, in 17 seconds. 17 seconds. Keep your eye out for Khamzat, man. I'm going to try to pronounce his last name. Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going to get it one of these days. I don't blame me. Everyone's messing up on it. We're going to get it. I promise. But Khamzat versus Thompson coming soon. McGregor versus Poirier. We talked about it before. We got Conor was on Twitter talking about a whole bunch of stuff, how he's waiting 7 months to get a fight. He said I asked for a May versus anyone. Dustin Poirier commented back, Conor ? Conor tweeted at him, "Hey bro, you want to do an MMA charity fight? Zero to do with the UFC. I would donate $500,000 towards your charity for it. Sell it on pay-per-view or work a TV deal, and we work out other charities that are close to my heart also. I am engaged in many, strictly a charity expedition." Then you got Dustin the Diamond Poirier responding, "I'm in, let's do it. A lot of people will benefit from this at the Good Fight Foundation." After all this information came out on Twitter, Dana White came out and said that he was offering the 2 men a fight with the UFC. Doesn't look like that panned out because Conor posted a photo just soon after that with the McGregor Sports Association or Entertainment in association with the Good Fight, advertising McGregor Poirier 2 charity event December 12th in Dublin, Ireland. Interesting. It's an expedition. Won't go on either of their records. Straight for money. But I am excited for this fight. Very excited. But I'm a little confused because McGregor also just confirmed that he will be fighting Pac-Man Pacquiao in December in Abu Dhabi. So is he fighting Poirier and him, or is he going to fight Pac-Man in January? I don't know. These fights are being made for Conor. He's going ahead with himself. I think it's very interesting to see him have his own entertainment organization. He's following flock with the Mayweather Promotions. I think it's a good idea from Conor. I think this charity fight's a great stepping stone. This is McGregor Poirier 2. I mean, this is the second fight of their possible trilogy, and it's not being fought in the UFC. You know what I mean? That's not good if you're Dana White. If you're not getting McGregor versus Poirier, the rematch, that's just, I want to know what the bad blood is, man. I want to know what's going on. I want to know, why is Conor not fighting? And why all of a sudden did Dana now want to offer him a fight after he offered this to Justin? It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, that's enough with the UFC news. Let's get into the fight card. First, I don't really ever go over prelims, but I got to now. Jordan Williams. He fought 3 times on Contender Series, his 3rd time getting a contract. Just a couple weeks ago, is fighting tonight. Yes, Jordan Williams, very dynamic fighter. Keep your eye out for him. He is the 4th fight on the prelims tonight. Man, just a very dynamic fighter. Has the drive, has the passion. Looking forward to seeing him fight. And like I said, it's the 4th fight of the prelim. But now onto the main card. First fight we got is the Quan Townsend versus Dusko Todorovic for the middleweight bout. This is a very interesting fight. Townsend is currently on a 3 straight losses heading into this fight. His fighting resume shows that he's 12 wins by knockout, 5 by submission, 5 by submission, and 4 by decision. The Quan Townsend, he's flying the fight out and hoping to prevent his 4-fight skid. He has to turn it around. He arrived in the UFC at 21-8, coming off a submission win over Wyman Carter at the Total Warrior Combat. But then he got pummeled in his UFC debut by Dauka Lagabula. I think that's how you pronounce it. Suffering his first knockout loss. He then went on to lose 2 unanimous decisions to Bavin Lewis and Devin Clark. Man, it's just been not in his favor at this point. But all the pressure is on Towson. He's desperately seeking this win. This could make him, he has a lot more to do to put himself out there. But I think this is a good stepping stone if he can't get this win over Todorovic. If Towson gets reckless and does not use his range well, I think Todorovic will wait for the chin to be exposed, and he's going to hunt him down. The Siberian, he's the favorite, but I think it will give everything he has to be able to win this fight. I think he has to kick it into full gear right away. And he's also fighting in the memory of his brother who just tragically passed away in August. So I do wish the best for him, but I think it's just going to be a tough bout for him. But we'll see. Todorovic is 9-0. Todorovic is currently undefeated heading into this fight. He has 5 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 1 by decision. A first-round knockout against Michael Piera. That's the guy that does all the backflips and stuff like that. But yeah, that sent him to the Contender Series where he grinded his way to decision win over Canada's Teddy Ash. He's since seen 2 planned UFC debuts against John Phillips collapse, one because of COVID and one due to the Siberian's withdrawal, which we still don't know about. Todorovic is on an odd mix. He has rangy. He's a switch hitter, kickboxer, grinding in the clinch. At range, he constantly switches from orthodox to southpaw as he bounces around in the cage, firing jabs. He has some heavy right hands. His efforts are a solid kick in his arsenal. He features heavy leg kicks. He's just all around. You just gotta. He's one of those fighters where if he's throwing a punch, you gotta expect he's throwing that punch to throw you off so he can throw a kick. If he's throwing a kick, he's trying to throw you off to throw a jab or a hook or a haymaker. Like, he's so quick with his. You just have to see it. You have to see it to understand how he fights. It's very impressive, and it shows why he's 9-0. His stopping power and aggression, man, it's going to be interesting. I do wish the best for Daquan Townsend, but it's going to be a hard fight for him with Todorovic being as dominant as he is. That solid, dynamic ground and pound. But yeah, exciting fight to look forward to. Next on the card is Kyler Phillips versus Cameron Else at bantamweight. Kyler Phillips is 7-1. He's at least an above average striker. He's at least above average striker. They call him the Matrix for a reason. His speed and power is very impressive. It's not seen in a lot of fighters. He is a human highlight reel. He's someone that you don't know of, but you will know of him after tonight, I think. Either one that gets this fight. Cameron Else 10-4, fighting out of England. He has a pro record of 7 wins, 4 knockouts and 3 submissions. Like I said, whoever wins this fight tonight is going to be the next fight. You're going to know about him. You know what I mean? It's that stepping stone. I think both these fighters are capable of being great contenders, but it's going to come down to who puts on a good show tonight. Cameron Else is I'm trying to think how to explain it. He's a one at a time striker. You know what I mean? He's not going to sit there and throw a 5-piece out, a 4-piece, 3-piece. He's going to sit there and throw a jab out, step back. He's going to throw a hook out. You know what I mean? He's going to be methodical with his strikes. He's not a Max Holloway. You know what I mean? He's not a let's push it. You know what I mean? He has some good submission game, some good ground game. But yeah, he's replacing a fighter for this fight. So hopefully it works out for him in his favor. Exciting fight to look forward to. Kyler Phillips versus Cameron Else. See who can be on the rise in the bantamweight division there. Third fight on the card, main card. I'm kind of upset it's this low. But Jermaine Durandamy versus Julian Pena at women's bantamweight. Jermaine is 9-4. She's currently ranked the number one fighter in the women's bantamweight division. Her fighting resume shows that she has 4 wins by knockout and 5 by decision. Yeah, we know which knockouts those are. The Iron Lady, she might be the most popular fighter on the card besides Holly Holmes, if you really think about it. So it's kind of disrespectful she's not even in the co-main event. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, she's had 8 UFC fights. She's only lost to 2. She's only lost to the all-time great Amanda Nunes. Along the way, she won the inaugural featherweight championship. Win over Holly Holm. She had a unanimous decision against Raquel Pennington. And she just needed 16 seconds to land that overhand against Aspen Ladd for Aspen Ladd's first pro loss. Jermaine is a force to be reckoned with, I think. Like I said, Amanda Nunes is the only person that's put her out. And Amanda Nunes is, I will say, the best women's fighter of all time. So if someone's going to beat you, at least it is the best. I know Jermaine Durandamy wants to be the best, but she's going to have to go out and beat Amanda Nunes. And then they're going to have to rematch that for a trilogy. And if whoever wins that trilogy, if Jermaine Durandamy does win that second fight, whoever wins that trilogy will be the greatest women's fighter of all time, I think. I think Jermaine Durandamy is very underrated. Her kickboxing is insane. I mean, come on. Like I was telling Kyle a minute ago, Kyle Driscoll, she only went to the UFC because there wasn't enough money in kickboxing and enough clout around. There wasn't enough for her to make a very good living in fighting. So she came over here. I guess she's the number one contender at 135 in the women's bantamweight division. She has explosive MMA. We don't even need to talk about her kickboxing skills. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you will know. But yeah, the formula is simple. Stay on the feet to win. Only a few women are capable of hanging in here, striking with her, and I don't think Pena is going to be one of them. I mean, Julian Pena is 10-4. She's coming off. What is it? Yeah, she just had that fight. Yeah, she's 4th. Yeah, she's ranked 4th now. I was just trying to see her rank. She's ranked 4th in the women's bantamweight division right now. It's hard to know what version of Pena you're gonna get. She's always all over the place. She's always a dynamic fighter. She's always trying to get someone to the ground. She's the type of fighter that you can't really go in saying, oh, she's gonna do this, she's gonna do that, she's gonna do this. She adjusts in the situation. And I think that's going to be a downfall for her because I don't think she's going to be able to adjust to Jermaine Durandamy. I think Jermaine Durandamy is going to be too quick, too fast, too efficient, and it's just going to be way too much for her. Pena has a great jab. She's a very balanced fighter, but I don't know. I'll give you my pick here soon. But I think Jermaine Durandamy is looking real good in that fight. Real good. Yorgan De Castro versus Carlos Felipe is the co-main event of the night at heavyweight. De Castro is coming off a decision loss back in May. He's 6-1, 5 wins by knockout, 1 by decision. With 2 UFC fights under his belt, he's coming off that unanimous loss against Greg Hardy at UFC 249 in May. That was just his second UFC fight. Yeah, Following that was his first round knockout of Justin Tafa last October, which was very impressive. But the 33-year-old is now 6-1 with 5 knockout wins, and 4 of those KOs came in the first round. He's a massive fighter with incredible power, but he isn't a technical striker. And like most fighters with his build, he has a poor cardio, which could come back to haunt him. Carlos Felipe is 8-1-0. He's coming off a decision loss back in July. He has 6 wins by knockout and 2 by decision. Felipe is coming off a decision loss against Sergio Spivak, I believe it is, Spivak, in his UFC debut in July. Prior to that, the 25-year-old Brazilian had won the first 8 fights of his career, with 6 of those victories coming via first-round knockout. Felipe is a big, heavy hitter, but only thing to question in his fighting is his poor movement. He's not very quick And that's going to be a downfall for him, I think. But we'll see. We'll see. And then coming in at the main event of the evening in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island, we got Holly, the Preacher Daughters, home versus Irene Aldana at women's bantamweight. Holmes is 13-5-0. She's currently ranked the second best fighter in the women's bantamweight division. She has 8 wins by knockout, 5 by decision. One of those knockouts include the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Hall of Fame knockout against Ronda Rousey. We all seen it. We all know what I'm talking about. I'm hoping for that, some type of fight like that tonight against Irene Aldana. The Preacher's Daughter has a striking accuracy of 35% and a grappling accuracy of 27%. She lands 2.75 significant strikes a minute while absorbing 2.80. There isn't much to say about Holly in terms of breaking down her approach to this fight because it's the same approach she has in every fight that's preceded that. Her offensive wrestling is adequate, but she can't stop, a decent takedown, but she can, if that makes sense. It's 50-50 for her. She's gonna stop it with a strike and not actual grabbing the person. She's gonna try to back up and defend it. But yeah, she turns 39 next month, which is very impressive for how athletic she is and how gifted she is in the octagon. Yeah, her footwork's crazy. But she can't fall into the wall and stand trap. She can't get pushed into the cage and sit there with Irene Aldana. That is her only downfall for this fight, and she needs to stay away from that 100%. Because Irene Aldana, she's coming to this fight 12-5. Aldana's coming in as the 6th best ranked fighter in the bantamweight division. Her fight resume shows that she has 6 wins by knockout, 3 wins by submission, and 3 wins by decision. She's a striking accuracy of 38% and a grappling accuracy of 50%. She lands 6.16 significant strikes a minute, but she also is absorbing 5.92. So she's given as much as she's taken. That's not good. Aldana excels against the mid to low level tier of components. She does. I don't like saying that because you never know, but in her career, statistically showing, she does excel against very, mid to lower tier. She doesn't really fight high level competition like Holly Holmes. So this is why it's gonna be a testing ground for her, and this is why I also think she's she's the least favored in the betting because, we gotta see her fight the good, top ranked fighters. She's not in the top 5 yet. She's gonna be fighting Holly Holmes at 2. So I think this is her time to shine. It's a main event card in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island. If she wants to make a name for herself, a bigger name for herself, she already's made a name for herself. She has to get this fight. If Holly Holmes loses this fight, we still know who Holly Holmes is. For Irene Aldana, I think this fight could really, really, really help excel her career, and so people can know who she is more. Because people like me, I know who she is. I know of her power, but like I said, she needs to fight more top tier opponents, and I think that's what we're gonna be getting at here. And if she gets the win, best of luck to her. Maybe she'll get a title shot. Maybe she'll get put up to rank 3 or 4. Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's go back over these. Daquan Townsend versus Dusko Todorovic. My choice, my pick, I don't know. Both these fighters have some interesting resumes when compared on paper. Townsend has a rough stretch his last few fights. His numbers aren't bad, but he has been clearly outstriked in all 3 of his losses. And I'm not sold on him turning it around for this one. Todorovic has some wild stats so far, but his strikes have some great accuracy, and this could potentially decide the outcome of the fight. But overall, I like his chances to continue his undefeated streak. And over time, I think the stats will average out. I think Todorovic wins via decision. All right, on the Kyler Phillips versus Cameron Else at bantamweight. You know, Kyler shows a lot of potential with his fight in his striking game. You know, Cameron Else comes with a decent amount of height behind him, even though it's a short notice fight. But this is a hard one to choose from. With little information on the two, you got Kyler Phillips. Man. I didn't pick this. I actually did not pick this one because I was going to decide in the moment. But I think I got to I'm going to go human highlight reel. I think I'm going to go Kyler Phillips. Kyler the Matrix Phillips. Let's go. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. I think he's going to come out and do something to blow everyone away, to put his name on the back. He wants to be a viral knockout. He wants to get that done. I can see that. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. Via TKO. Via TKO. Yep. We're going to change it via TKO. Not decision. Let's see. Let's see what happens there. Third fight of the night, Jermaine Durandamine versus Juliana Pena, sorry. This is going to be a great fight. This is going to be a very good fight. The market, the UFC community, they seem torn between deciding on a winner, and that's for a good reason. However, we can decipher a little from the numbers I gave you. But Randamine does everything well that she is supposed to do when it comes to striking and defending. Her weakness would be her ground game, though. She's not very aggressive on the ground. Her takedowns, you know what I mean? That's going to be her, you know what I mean? I think that's where it's going to fall back a little bit. But Pena has the potential to win the stand-up game along with taking Randamine to the ground and claiming points. I think I'm going to have to take Randamine. If it goes decision, I think Randamine wins decision with her striking, even though Pena might out wrestle her. I'm gonna go with it. Jermaine Durandamine wins via decision. All right, on to the co-main event. Yorgan De Castro versus Carlos Felipe. Both of these fighters have experienced their first UFC losses this year, both by decision. With this being a heavyweight showdown, we can strongly guess that this will definitely live up to the hype, I think. I do not see this fight really having any much ground game. Felipe, even with one UFC appearance, took on a lot of significant strikes, and this could be the same result in this matchup. De Castro appears to be the safer pick. He has a better striking accuracy, a better ratio. He should be able to close this one out with a knockout decision. I'm going to pick De Castro wins TKO. And now for the main event of the evening, Holly, the Preacher Daughter's Home versus Irene Aldana. This fight looks to be another coin flip, to be honest with you. It's hard to make a decision on this one because we have not seen Irene Aldana fight someone on the level of Holly Holm, my personal opinion. Aldana has solid numbers everywhere you look. The downside to her fighting resume is that she has a high volume of strikes absorbed. This could hurt her if Holmes begins to find openings, as she did with Ronda Rousey. But Holmes also has a solid fighting resume. Her downside would be her accuracy, both striking and grappling, so she would need to be on point here, I think. But overall, I believe the fight, overall, this fight makes it a decision, I think, with Holly, the Preacher Daughter, Holmes prevailing in this matchup. Both fighters have averaged a lot of fights going to decision lately. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Holly Holm wins via decision. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I'm excited for this card tonight. First off, before I get out of here, the prelim, they are in Abu Dhabi. They are fighting in the very, very early in the AM. They are. But for us, prelims start at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And then the fights tonight are free on ESPN, but they don't start until 10:30 p.m. Like I said, ESPN tonight, 10:30 p.m. main card, ESPN Plus 7:30 p.m. preliminary card. Yeah, great show. Really do appreciate Kyle Driscoll coming on. Make sure you check him out. Follow him on Twitter. Link in the description. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast, and I'm your host, Jalen Walker. Thanks, guys.